Hi, my name is Maury with SuccessorsData.com. I want to thank you for joining us for this brief webinar on inheritance property opportunities. Our industry is constant. We post 6,000 properties a week nationwide. Our system is simple. You can reach the heirs by phone or mail using SuccessorsData.com website. Friend, never be intimidated by contacting the heirs because they need realtors and investors to achieve their financial objectives. However, best practices are advised to do it tastefully and professionally. One of the big hurdles that when I spoke with realtors and investors is that, well, if I know somebody passed away, how am I going to call the heirs, or what can I possibly tell them that I will not be misunderstood as an ambulance chaser or anything like that? Well, let me walk you through it. First of all, when you contact the heirs, never mention probate, estate planning. I'm a probate specialist, or I like to talk to the person who's in charge of the estate. Friend, don't go there. Never think of contacting an heir or beneficiary as anything other than contacting anyone else. Three ways you can contact individuals. One, by door knocking. There's a 2-minute video on our site on tutorials. Please watch that about door knocking. We show you how to do it tastefully, how to do it right so you get positive results. Second way is cold calling. For example, as a realtor, if I wanted to call as a realtor, here's how I would call. Hi, my name is Maury. I'm in real estate, calling around the neighborhood to see if anyone like to sell their property or just like to know what their property is worth in today's market. For example, if I were to call as an investor, here's how I would call. Hi, my name is Maury. I'm in real estate, calling around the neighborhood to see if anyone like to sell their property. If I were to contact by mail, a simple letter would be like this. This letter, you can send it to anyone. Dear Mr. Johnson, would you consider selling your property located at? To a possible client of mine, sincerely, Maury Iqbal, Realtor. Or as an investor, I would write this letter. Dear Mr. Johnson, would you consider selling your property located at? To us for all cash. Sincerely, Maury Iqbal, Cash Investors. We categorize inheritance property records in 3 categories. Category 1, which consists of 60% of our property records, of properties that are held in living trust. The benefit to this is that they are standard sales. They don't need probate court approval. The second category is 20% of them which are in joint tenancy, and the third category is probate. To illustrate the category 1 better, which is 60% of our records hold in living trust. That means no probate. Again, in living trust, you can see here an individual create a revocable living trust and places his assets or her assets or their assets in the living trust, and they control the trust. They receive benefits from it, all that. However, after their death, the trust is distributed to the family, heirs, and charitable organizations. So really, a will alone will not avoid probate. A living trust can. Second category is joint tenancy. 2 people own a property and they own it together, but if one of these individuals pass away, the other one becomes the sole owner. This is 20% of our data. Again, there is no probate. You're dealing with individuals in this category. The average age is 77 years old. Actual examples. Here's a property we post on our website for $6.1 million. Let me show you the reason this property is sold. The individual who owned the property was Emily R. Titeman. She created a living trust and she placed the property in the living trust. When she passed away, the heirs or successor trustees sold the property. This is how the deed was transferred. Ann Lenore Brandt, successor co-trustee of this trust. So she is the one who sold the property. So what happened was she lived in a property, she had the benefit of using the property, but in her demise, the trust had given the power to the individual and Lenore to sell the property. See, this happens 60% of the times, friend. You are dealing with the standard sales. Here's another property sold as a standard sales. Look, from February 22nd to April 10 was only 30, 40 days. So the individual, Jerry D. Wagon, had the power to sell this property. Property sold in Beaumont, California as a standard sale. Check Redfin. You'll never see anything about somebody passed away. Here is how the deed transfer was done. Jerry D. Wagon, successor trustee of the Shalva G. Lindsay Revocable Trust. He was the one who had the power to sell the property, and he did as he was instructed. Here's a property sold in Burbank, California for $639,000. From February 11 that until March 18 was only 8 days. The trust sold the property, and the investor who bought the property fixed it and sold it for $300,000 more. Both of them was done through multiple listing services. First, he bought it through the MLS, then he sold it through the MLS. You see the opportunities for realtors and investors here? Here's another property sold full price in Claremont, California for $450,000. Now, we have seen these properties go up for sale as early as the first couple of weeks. Here's a property sold for $238,000 on September 21, 2013. Closed escrow by January 21. And then the investor fixed and sold the property just 4 or 5 months later for $325,000 with a gross margin of about $100,000. Here's a property sold in South Pasadena. Check Redfin. You will see it. These are all a standard sale. Check your multiple listing. A standard sale for $1.2 million. Another property was sold directly to an investor. Then he sold the property for $70,000 with a gross margin of about $49,000 profit. Here's a property sold in Washington for $1,065,000. You can see the trust sale, a standard sale. Here's the address on the property, verified with Redfin. Here's the property sold in Texas. You can see all the pictures. The house was vacant. The trust sold the property, closed escrow on May 31, 2014, a property in Pennsylvania. We can do this all day long, friend. The benefit of working with successors is that we post up to 10 properties they own in every state.